14 was the first year that you led the earnings. You had 4 winners. Yep. So you had Father Patrick coming back, 3-year-old colt trot, kind of like, you know, capping off the year. Like I said, the Hamiltonian capping off the year with Bang Bang, Breeders' Crown. I'm sure that was for you and for Jimmy and for the, you know, they were probably knowing that he was going to be a stallion at that point. So it's like, we got to get this at least 2 major races. And I know he had won a bunch of stuff in between, but it's like, no, we got to cap off his career with that. So do you feel, because that's, again, he's like your first stallion, right? He's like your first horse that you're going to feel the real pressure. You can drive a filly pacer and it's okay. But this was your real. Yeah. Would you say you felt the most pressure with that horse?
Yeah, for sure. Especially because after that 3-year-old season, because the Ambo, I knew like he needed that. You know what I mean? Like I agree with you on that. Like, you know, even though he had a Breeders' Crown before, I think to cap off his 3-year-old season, you know what I mean? He needed the Breeders' Crown, and definitely I felt pressure in that race. Especially, you know, it was a tough field. You know what I mean? Like EL Titan was coming into the race really good, and you know, you still had Nuncio and stuff. So like it was not going to be an easy field or an easy race by any mean, and he was tired. You know, it had been a long year. You know, he wasn't as sharp as he was in the beginning of the year. So, you know, like if he was as good as he was in June and July, I wouldn't be so concerned. You know what I mean? But I knew I had to, you know, get a breeder somewhere or get, you know, do something, because like he wasn't going to beat him just on, you know, pure overpowering them.
Was it self pressure? Like, I need to do this, or did you feel, you know, I don't want to say pressure from Jimmy or pressure from the owners, but like, where was the pressure coming from? Your own self, like, I need to do this? Or like, we know that Jimmy was probably like, hey, we got to win this thing, you know, or the owners, but where, like, do you, to become a great driver, do you have to internalize a lot of that stuff and package it into fuel and be like, no, I need to get this done?
Yeah, nobody has ever said a word about it, so it was more me. It was more on myself, or probably feeling a little guilty still about the Ambo, you know what I mean? Like, so myself. So, no, nobody, the owners or Jimmy never mentioned that he needed it. I just felt like, you know, I needed to get done for him, you know what I mean, for the horse.
3-year-old colt and gelding trot for $500,000 presented by Dale Valente Farms. And they are on gate, ready for start. Here they come. Off and trotting, Harper Blue Chip the far outside. Father Patrick Nuncio left with Illustrious on the inside. Nuncio going for the lead. It's Nuncio, Harper Blue Chip left out there 40th. Illustrious and Nuncio. Now Nuncio wrestles command. Here comes Father Patrick on the outside to challenge. Harper Blue Chip settles down and goes up 4th on the outside. Datsuk got away 5th. That's EL Titan going up 6th on the outside past the quarter. Then comes Don Dorado, Il Sogno Dream, odds on Amethyst and Sumatra. 27-2 for the first quarter. So Father Patrick settles in up front and dictates the terms here with Gingras, leading it by a length and a half on the stablemate Nuncio. Illustrious rides the cones in 3rd. Harper Blue Chip is 4th. EL Titan to the outside uncovered 5th. Don Dorado to follow him 6th. Then Datsuk on the inside 7th. Il Sogno Dream is 8th on the outside. Then Odds on Amethyst and Sumatra continues to trail. The half are rated 56 and 128.4 rating. Father Patrick by a length and a half, looking solid. EL Titan on the outside, a challenge first over. So Nuncio locked in the box as they round the turn. Don Dorado gapping his cover some. He is stride for stride with a locked-in Illustrious as they approach 3/4. Then comes Harper Blue Chip on the inside. And Il Sogno Dream from the back. Odds on Amethyst needs to fan out with excess cover. Then Datsuk and Sumatra. They're over at 3/4 in 124 and 2. It's a well-rated Father Patrick by a length and a half. Nuncio from the inside 2nd, and EL Titan on the outside is all in 3rd. Illustrious angles with a menacing move. Father Patrick, a 2-pronged attack here. EL Titan is getting to him. Father Patrick, Nuncio, not tonight. Father Patrick, redemption for Father Patrick. He is blessed with a Breeders' Crown, and it's Yannick Gingras. EL Titan 2nd, 151-4.
And then on the same night, you're like, okay, well, we've got these great horses, and then just your freshman class. I mean, Pinkman and Mission Brief.
Yeah.
Pinkman was okay. The 2-year-old colt trotters were okay, right?
She crushed.
She like she just destroyed everybody by 2.5 seconds. Do you remember like when you first kind of jumped on her, or maybe Ronnie's training, and they're like, this thing is like, she's just a beast. Like, do you remember the first kind of conversation where you go from, hey, we got a nice horse, to no, this horse is like a monster?
Yeah, I do remember actually. It was the first baby race at Gateway. And I think it was just a 2-horse race, if I remember correctly. It was me and Steve Smith. And the only thing Ronnie said before is like, you might want to just keep her covered up. Like, she's a little hot, and like, try to teach her a little. And I was trying to keep her in the hole and going to the first turn, and she just took off running because we're just going too slow, And then she came a huge back half after that. And then the next week we qualified her back, and she was unreal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I let her trot. She was definitely not. She got my heartbeat going a few times. She was not easy to drive, and I held my breath. Like, once she was going, she was good gated. She wouldn't make break after that or stuff. It was just more about getting her situated in the race. But can she go? Can she fly? You know? And then she was a lot of fun.
Going back, switch to Ronnie real quick. Like, back then, he was just finally hitting that point of maybe, he had a lot of older horses, but now he's kind of venturing into this younger horse field and buying yearlings and all that stuff like that. Do you think that does he keep the same attitude of, well, he knew Mission Brief was good, or does he like kind of keep the expectations lower and then let them prove it in actual races versus, hey, in April, this thing is really good?
No, he keeps it down, but she never stayed flat in Florida. You know what I mean? I don't even know if I would usually go once or twice a year. I don't remember if I ever sat behind her there. You know what I mean? But Ronnie said, like, now when we talk about her, like, you saw flashes of how fast she could go. She just couldn't stay trotting. You know what I mean? Like, but she could go, huge quarters in between. So like, the expectation, going into the baby races was more like she's crazy fast. But like, he never said like she was, a freak, or she was going to be like the best horse or the fastest horse ever. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like that.
Breeders' Crown Final for the 2-year-old trotting fillies, presented by Hunterdon Farm and Sales Agency. A field of 10, all in behind the gate. They're at the post, heading toward the start. Here they come. And they're off, and Gingras fed Mission Brief into the gate perfectly, and she comes away smoothly. Warrawee Hanover's right there to her inside, and Wild Honey closest to the rails, up close as they head onto the turn. Danielle Hall is going to slide in behind her. Racing in 5th is Love Me Madly, living in the fast lane, caught 3 wide early. Stubborn Bell is moving up from in between horses as they trot toward the quarter. Getting rough and going off stride. Lilu Hanover 8th at the rail. Smexy drives up in between horses, and Wild Honey's off stride. Wild Honey went off stride before the quarter. Opening split up in 26 and 4, and moving up around several breakers there. Now into the 8th spot is Hot Start as they head down the backstretch toward the half-mile marker, and it's Mission Brief who moves past to take the lead. And what we thought would be her prime competition, Wild Honey, jumped it off there. So Warrawee Hanover's in the 2-hole in 2nd. Danielle Hall racing in 3rd. Stubborn Bell is just in behind the top trio from 4th. Love Me Madly riding the pylons in 5th. Living in the fast lane is 6th, starting to edge to the outside there. Smexy hoping to ride her cover to get carried closer as they reach the half in 55 and 3. Hot Start is showing the whip in the 8th spot. Stubborn Bell pulled from 4th, trying to flush out Danielle Hall from 3rd, and she is underway on the outside as they head around the far turn. So Mission Brief leads the way, a length and a half in front. Danielle Hall's riding up on the outside in 2nd. Warrawee Hanover in the loose pocket spot 3rd. Stubborn Bell is 4th on the outside. Living in the fast lane racing in 5th. Love Me Madly is 6th to her inside as they head through 3 quarters in 124 and 1. They come to the top of the stretch, and it's Mission Brief who's kicking clear. Mission Brief has opened it up under a hand drive, now to a 3.5 length lead with an 1/8 of a mile to go. Danielle Hall is full out. Stubborn Bell living in the fast lane up on the outside into 3rd, but it's Mission Brief who's wrapped up, and it's Mission Brief, the world's fastest 2-year-old trotter, is now a Breeders' Crown winner in 1:51 and 4. Danielle Hall 2nd, then living in the fast lane and Smexy.
But overall, all the horses, he's pretty like level-headed that way, because it's hard to compare now. Like, it's hard to tell which one is great, which one is not, and they all come to their speed so easily. So it's who has the guts, and obviously training in 2.5 or 2 minutes, you're not really seeing when who's got the guts.
Over the years, it's like I can count 100 times where I've heard owners or trainers saying, "I've got the next blank.
Yeah.
This horse is amazing. And it's like, well, maybe the fact that Ronnie stays a little level-headed about all of them because of the partnership with Mark and that whole, it's like, no, we're just going to let them prove it. We don't need to have the next whatever. Let them prove it. We're not worried about what they're doing in March or April or May. And they don't need to be in a certain, hey, we got to be in 2.5 by March 1st or whatever it is. Like, they don't have these limits. They just, whatever happens, happens. And whoever's going with whoever's going, and let them prove it.
Yeah, and I'm like that too. Like, there's so many horses that are fast and stuff, but like, until you really get to the bottom, until they really get tired the first time, that's when you really know what they're made of, and then, and as you can love yours, but you don't know who's in the barn next
Sure.
door. They might have one that they think is great too, so like, to say like they're the next, Some Beach Somewhere or the next Muscle Hill or whatever in April, to me it's impossible. And anybody that says that, you can love your horse, you can think that he's really nice and great gaited and it's got speed, great attitude, all that stuff. No, I've said it, and everybody doesn't have. No, to me there's no problem there. But no, to compare them to the greats, like early in their development, I don't think it's fair to the horse, because it can only go down from there. Because like if you say your horse in April is like the next Some Beach Somewhere, well, most likely you're going to be wrong.
Yeah.
Like, so you can only go down from there.
Did you feel like with Mission Brief, because like where you're saying that the first qualifier, she got a little bottled up, was it almost a better tactical strategy to just let her be faster and lows faster? I'm talking like let her go off by 5 and let her just run so that she doesn't have, because if there was a hole in her game, it was maybe other horses and getting crowded or things like that, where you're just on your own and you don't have to worry about anybody else getting in your way.
Yeah, it probably was, yes. And she was so much ahead of her time and speed wise, so like, for her to win by 5 was really not even to her bottom. You know what I mean? Like, it was still, she could go more than that, so like, you're trying to like race him from behind or whatever, especially 2-year-old trotting filly. There's a couple of races where I was trying to teach her where I wish I wasn't.
You're just like, get out of my way.
Yeah,
just let me do my own thing. Let me get out of my own way. So 14, that was a fantastic year. Yeah. First time you led the earnings. At that point, you're like, yeah, I could just do this every year. I'm here now. I'm stamping myself. I'll just win 4 or 5 British Crowns every year. Was that kind of your mentality, or you try to take it, year by year, and you see what crop is going?
No, 14 was an unbelievable year. Not just British Crown, the year overall. You know what I mean? It was just so many good horses, and but like I had many of the division. I had the best too. You know what I mean? I didn't have just Mission Brief. I had Mission Brief and Wild Honey. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have just Pinkman. I had Pinkman and Habitat. Yeah. I won 4, but I lost with for JK First Lady. No, she's a lady. You know what I mean? And because I took Hannelore Hanover, I had the 2 best in the division. Like, I had so much power that year. It was unbelievable. I kind of wish it was like that every year. I'd do that every year, no problem.
So now 15, Dave Miller has to one-up you and be like, no, you won 4. I'm going to go and win 5 up in Woodbine. Another miserable night. It was cold, rainy. You had Southwind Frank and all the time another group of freshman rookie trotters. Like, you kind of had, did you feel like early on you had you raced at Yonkers, you raced at Meadowlands, maybe you didn't were viewed as a baby guy, and now all of your early races are rookie trotters, filly trotters, which is the toughest horse to drive, is a rookie filly trotter. Like, would you agree with that? Those are the toughest horse to drive, and here you are winning the best races with them and having the best, of each year. Yeah,
but like, I don't know. I've always got along good with trotters. My dad loved trotters, and growing up, working with them and stuff, and now same thing for myself. If you look at the horses that I've owned over the years, I'd say 85% is probably trotters. Now, I do enjoy the trotters more than the pacers.
All up on the gate except the 6, Lagerfeld, who made a break behind the gate. They're off and trotting, and first away for the lead in the center, fires out Sliding Home. And Sliding Home set sail for that early lead. Second away at the inside is Deep Impact. Trotting up in third comes Southwind Frank. Wide in fourth is Tony Soprano. Through at the inside, fifth is Muscles for Life. Sixth off the speed to Marion Marauder. Crossed over to get a spot. Seventh is Dupree. Further back to race up with them from an eighth is Milligan School. The ninth is Will Take Charge. And after the miscue, Lagerfeld is far behind. Southwind Frank Frank on the outside into attack mode early. He clears in 27-1. Campbell, however, lost Tony Soprano. Tony Soprano made a break going to the quarter pole. And on that early lead, it's the heavily favored Southwind Frank. And Southwind Frank takes them across the backstretch now, riding in the pocket spot, second, sliding home. Up with them from in third is Deep Impact, a gap of 2 lengths back to Muscles for Life from in fourth. 50 inside, Marion Marauder comes first up now under the orders of Xeron, picking up the cover. Dupree from in sixth. Seventh up on the move is Milligan School, then shooting through at the rail is Will Take Charge. The half in 57-3, a piece of cake half for Southwind Frank. Got a second quarter in 30-2 for Gingras, and on that far turn they go. Southwind Frank clear by 3 lengths now. Back in second we go to find sliding home 2 lengths back. Deep Impact third. Marion Marauder first over, trotting up quickly fourth, now into third as they make their way to the midway point of the final turn. And still on that lead is Southwind Frank. Second to the inside, sliding home. Marion Marauder coming on first over from in third. He's up into second now, a length and a half away from Southwind Frank. Southwind Frank to 3/4 in 1:26-2. The teletimer, his best friend tonight. Southwind Frank spins into the stretch and he's clear by 3 lengths. Back in second, Marion Marauder fully extended. Then third inside is sliding home. Some late speed coming from Deep Impact from in fourth as they come into the final 1/8 of the mile. And it's all Southwind Frank, 2.5 lengths in front. Marion Marauder on the outside, determined in pursuit, but will fall short as Southwind Frank wins the Breeders' Crown by 2 lengths, wrapped up as he scores in 1:54 2/5. It was Southwind Frank to win the Breeders' Crown final in 54-2.
You feel like your filly trotters, that's kind of been the ones you most like?
Yeah, no, man, I do like it. I do enjoy working with the young trotters. Obviously, winning all these, these 2-year-olds, Mission Brief was, she was really a special horse. But then after that, there was a lot of Jimmies, you know what I mean? So, anybody could have sat behind those. I was just lucky. I was fortunate that time I was first call for Ronnie and Jimmy, and I had a choice of, 25, 30 trotting fillies and 25, 30 trotting colts, so I was just at the right place, right time.